Good morning, friends, and happy Saturday. Don't you love summer Saturdays? It just seems like it's the perfect time to just get things done. And I'm so glad that you would join me today. My name is Anitra with Simply Living Smart, and this is week 2 of our organization challenge. So I'm so glad that you're with me. You know, one of the most exciting things about what I do is to hear how you're doing and the progress that you're making. And I've had so many people reach out this week, so excited about what we talked about last week, which was the Weekend Warrior Basket. So I want to ask those of you who were on that episode, how are you doing and what progress are you making? And what changes have you seen? I wanted to share just 2 quick emails that I got that I was so excited about. One was a woman who was helping her daughter. Now her daughter had just had her 4th baby. She was kind of in a mess and she was just scattered in her thoughts. And she said, how am I ever going to manage all my to-dos? She said, Anitra, it was so timely. I watched your episode on how to create a weekend warrior basket and I implemented it in my daughter's home. And she said it's made a difference already in 2 days. She feels such a relief because she has places to put things. And she's even teaching her younger kids how to manage the basket. So this is such exciting news. I love it. There was another woman who was probably in her mid-70s, and she said, you know, Anitra, we go to the mailbox every day, and the piles just stack up on our kitchen table. And we just don't really go through them, and it just becomes such a cluttery mess. But she said, I was inspired after the Weekend Warrior episode to go and sift through all that paperwork and do my to-dos and get my things filed. And she said, I love that now I have a really simple system. And the funny thing was, she said, my husband is actually putting things in the Weekend Warrior basket so that we can manage that on the weekends and we can have our days free. So this brings me so much joy, and I love that you're implementing the things that you're learning here. And I hope that you'll continue to share the things that are working and also ask questions. Again, you know, this is a community where we learn together and everybody has ideas. Everybody has things that they want to share or things that they want to ask. And I would encourage you to do that here. Now, if I don't answer on this live episode, you're welcome to leave it in the notes. I love to answer every single email and every single comment that comes through because I want to help you on your journey to become more organized, feel less cluttered, and have more joy and more time in your life to do the things that you love. So let's dive in. For those of you who don't have a clue of what the Weekend Warrior Basket is and you're new to Simply Living Smart, just check out the video tab under Simply Living Smart and you will see that Weekend Warrior Basket. It's really where we take you step by step and help you organize the things that you have to do every day, those to-do lists, those things that need to be filed, those things that need to be managed, all of your tasks, so that you can actually live a little bit more efficiently and get more done in a smaller amount of time and maybe even claim 4 hours back in your week. Wouldn't that be great? So check out that episode. It's only 30 minutes. This one's going to be a little longer. I'm going to try to get it done in 40. There's so much information, and I've been poring over this all week to bring you just really those golden nuggets that I think you're going to love. Now, at the end of this series, which is going to end in July, because it's 5 weeks, 5 Saturdays of organization, I will let you download my free, it's pretty much a mini ebook of all of the organizing things that I've talked about, everything I've discussed, so that you can go back and review and also download them and share with the ones that you love. So if you're a mom with grandkids and or a grandma and you have grandkids or children of your own who could use this information, I'd love for you to pass it along. So every time I tackle an organization project, I like to use the acronym CALM, CALM, and I'm going to go through each one of those with you. Letter C is create a plan. We have to have a plan. We have to have an end goal, and that's really important. A is approach it by sections. We can't possibly organize our entire house in a weekend. So it's really imperative that we focus on the rooms or the spaces that we're in for the moment, whether that's 1 day, 2 weeks, and really approach that section mindfully. L is for lighten up and let go. I think this is one of the best parts of decluttering and organization is understanding those things that really need to stay and then minimalizing and getting rid of the rest. Finally, manage it simply. That's the M. How do we manage simply? And again, I think that what my intention is today is to share with you some solutions. This is not about telling you what containers to buy. This is not telling you how to do what you're going to do in your home. This is helping you just kind of be a guide to help you make proper decisions so that wherever you live, whether that's in an apartment or a condo or a home, you will feel like you have great solutions for the spaces that you manage. Okay? So today, of course, we're talking about bedrooms, bathrooms, and closets. And before we dive into all of these rooms, I want to start by giving you 10 smart tips in approaching any organization project. And it all starts with decluttering. We can't organize unless we've sifted through what we have and we've decluttered our spaces so we know exactly what's there. So number one, whether this is your bathroom, your kitchen, your office, it's always going to be the same. I tell my clients we're going to organize everything in the room in piles first. That's number one. So these piles can be put either in a laundry basket or in a box, whatever floats your boat, okay? Has to be piles. The first pile will be what things belong in this room, what's going to stay in this room. The second pile, what belongs in another room. The third pile, donations. And the fourth pile is trash, what needs to go, okay? Now remember, in the Weekend Warrior basket, the reason we started with that is because we have a system, right? So as you're going through all of your decluttering and all of your organization, you're going to be so glad that you tackled your Weekend Warrior basket first, because you're going to see that you're going to have tasks you need to do, you're going to have things that need to be repaired and replaced, and you are going to have things that need to be filed. So with that system already in place, you're going to see immediate success. So I'm so excited for you to experience that. Number two, don't go room to room organizing before you're done with the first room you're working on. So let's say you've made your piles and there's a pile here that is labeled, this goes in another room. Do not be tempted to put that item in the other room. Just put it in the basket and wait till you're done with that to manage that later, okay? That's a big temptation. And I promise you, it's gonna look worse before it looks better. But in my world, this is called making progress, okay? Number three, give yourself time to get it all right. Don't just go 80% and organize that room and say, you know what, I'll come back to that later. I'm too excited to get to my kitchen, right? Do it 100% how you love it, how it's supposed to be. Get those things replaced or repaired, and just be able to check that box off and say, I'm completely 100% happy with what I've done in this room, all right? Now, I always love to have extra storage containers on hand, and you will find as you start to declutter that there will be so many organizing solutions that you're gonna find that maybe you started and didn't really work well for you in that room, or that you can use in other rooms. So I literally have a linen closet in my home dedicated to storage containers. And because I'm such a minimalist and an upcycler, I love my UPS boxes that come in the mail. I save them. Not the huge ones, but those that are maybe shoebox size. So here's a really simple solution. And we buy a lot of shoes at our house. So it's mostly my son, let's just say. I'm kind of, again, a minimalist, but he buys a lot of shoes. So I save all of the shoe boxes. And what I do is they make, great organization containers, as you can see. I take my favorite wrapping paper, and last year when I did this major overhaul, it happened to be white and gray. It even matches my lamp. Look, I redid my lamp. It's a little crazy, but it works. And I just take them and line them with my favorite wrapping paper so that they're not ugly and they match, and everything in my closets match. So they're all this gray and white. But this is an easy way to recycle. It doesn't cost you a dime. And then you're not filling the landfill with a bunch of cardboard, right? So I love that. Any little organization boxes, or, sometimes I even use these Quaker oatmeal boxes. These are so great, and we're gonna get to these later, for kids' puzzles and little toys. Again, you can wrap them in anything you want, make them really cool for the kids. You can even put a picture of what's on the outside, and you can use these. So when you're buying, things that don't even have to do with organization, maybe they're just food containers, consider, is there a way that I can use this container to organize spaces in my home? And I think that you'll be surprised. But it's always great to be able to open the closet and say, okay, based on my need or my piles, is there anything in here that I could use first before I go and invest in more stuff? Because the idea is we're trying to declutter and get things out of the house, not bring a bunch of things in. So do not buy your storage containers before you're ready to organize those piles, okay? Because you're gonna feel frustrated. You're gonna think, oh, I probably need 4, but in the end, maybe you only needed 3 or you need 6 and there's not enough. So you're gonna be just wasting time doing that. So just go through your piles first and accumulate those great containers that you could also upcycle. Number 4, as you organize, see if you can challenge yourself to throw away 15 items in each of these areas. That shouldn't be hard. 15 items. And I'm not saying just, tissue paper or the obvious trash. Get rid of 15 things. And that could be trash or that can be donations. Okay, that's a pile as well. If you're afraid to donate, let's say you're going through your closet or your things and you say, either I spent a lot of money on this and I'm just not ready to get rid of it, or I really don't think that I'm ever going to use this, but I'm just having such a hard time getting rid of it. Listen, my suggestion is putting it in a dark plastic bag, dark so that you cannot see it. Put all of those things in the donate pile, put them in your garage for 30 days. And if you don't open that bag for 30 days, do not open it, take it straight to the donation center, okay? So once again, if you're not sure that you want to get rid of it, but you've never worn it in a long time, or you haven't used it, or you have no use for it, it's just taking up space. And put it in the bag, put it in the garage for 30 days. If you don't end up going into that bag, do not open the bag, go straight to the donation center, okay? That helps a lot. And it's really, really a joyful thing to say, you know what, I don't even remember what was in there. I don't need it, obviously, right? Number 5 is try to make decisions on what to keep and to donate based on the need and not the emotion. How many times do we hold on to things because someone gave it to us, or we feel obligated, or one day I'm gonna fit into those jeans? Listen, I have heard that way too many times. There are people, I have clients who are wearing clothes or holding on to clothes from high school, thinking that one day when they shed those pants, they're gonna fit in it again. No, that's not how this works. If you haven't worn it in 6 months or a year, get rid of it. You will not miss it. Out of sight, out of mind. That's my theory. And if you need it, you can always go buy it again. Okay? Number 6, don't purchase organization. Well, we went through this. Don't purchase organization containers before you start organizing. Here's another thing. If you're not quite sure what you like for organization, containers, I really know what works well because I've done this so many times for so many people. But if you're new at this, go to the dollar store. You cannot fail. Just go to the dollar store, pick up things that you think you could use. Pencil box sizes are always ideal. You can use those all the time. Don't get anything really big, but have an intention in mind when you go and choose those containers. And we're going to get to more of that in a minute. Number 7, invest in a labeler. You can, these are as little as $20. You do not have to get anything fancy. Just a simple labeler will do. Be sure to purchase more labeling tape. You're going to need it. There is nothing more frustrating, and I'm a very impatient person when it comes to this, running out of label tape when you're right in the middle of a project, and then you go, oh no, it's interrupting my flow. So make sure you have a backup of that and also a backup of batteries should you need it. All right, number 8, pile repairs in one place so that they will always be in the same, you can always understand where to find those repairs. And we talked a little bit about this in the Weekend Warrior Basket episode, but we're going to really be focusing on this in a later episode when we're talking about organizing the garage, because there is actually a great solution in things that need to be repaired and also things that are borrowed that need to be returned. So there is a specific place for those, and we'll be talking about that soon. All right, number 10, the last and probably the most important thing is to teach your family what your organization system looks like. How can they participate? How can they be a part of it? How do they help you not to sabotage all the effort and all the work and mindfulness you've put into this project? So there are great ways to teach your family how to do this, and I think that one of the best things to do, especially you young moms, is to start when your children are really little and they can learn how to do very simple tasks. The first one, of course, is the weekend warrior basket, right? We talked about going through the room and putting things in there that don't belong so that they can help find homes for those things, and they will learn how to be orderly. And other things are maybe helping them understand, maybe even a 3-year-old can help to fold a dish towel. That is not rocket science. But when they learn to have responsibility in keeping the home tidy, they'll take more pride in their things as well. I believe this because I've been through it myself. All right, now that we've gone through the decluttering and kind of the rules of declutter, I want to explore what are we going to do with those piles that are left, the "this belongs in this room" pile, okay? So I'm starting with the smallest areas of your home, namely closets, bathrooms, okay, and then bedrooms, because this is going to give you some really good practice before you dive into more complex things like the garage, the kitchen, the pantry, okay? So I want you to buckle up because this is going to be such a fun ride, and I'm going to just take you through, and I hope to just get through all of this. Again, if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them in this chat so that we can address those for you. All right. Remember our plan, okay? We're going to create a plan. We're going to approach it by sections. Then we're going to lighten up and let go. And we're going to learn to manage these areas simply. So simplicity is key, friends. I want you to feel like the places and spaces that you organize are true retreats. And I think the more we can learn to be minimalistic, the better. You may love your things, and that's great, but there will always be a time where I think the more stuff we have, the more stuff we have to manage. That's how I look at it. I don't want to be cleaning and dusting all day and all that. And I don't want to worry that I'm going to lose things. So I just think if it's not practical and it doesn't serve me for some reason, I'm just not a knick-knack girl. And there are some people who are, and that's just what makes you happy, and that's great. So if you're comfortable with that, awesome. But today we're going to learn how to manage things simply. All right, so are you ready? Here we go. Step 1. We're going to talk, this is now about bathrooms. We're going to start in the smallest room of the house. So take everything, and I mean everything, out of the drawers, the cupboards, categorize everything. And you are going to have so many piles. What I like to do is just kind of, like, I happen to have a huge, floor in my bathroom. So I lay everything out, and you're going to have piles like makeup and skincare, cleaning supplies, shaving supplies, mini travel supplies, dental hygiene, brushes and combs, curlers and dryers, hair accessories, lotions and potions, tissue and toilet paper and towels. I think I've covered probably most everything. So make those categories, maybe make those piles. And now that you've made those piles, we're going to pare down those piles even more. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to determine which of those things do we use every single day, and which of those things do we use, less often, or are more bulky, or can be accessed easily, but maybe they're a backup or an oversupply, right? A backup supply. So what I call on deck, things that are on deck, are going to be things in your drawer that are really easy to access. Things like toothbrushes and, dental floss and your brushes and your makeup. Okay, those are on deck things. So those are pretty obvious. The below deck things I call are things that are going to be in your cupboards. So this could be cleaning kits. This could be extra toilet paper and toothpaste. This could be, all of those travel supplies, things like that. Okay. So consider again, what are the things you use every day and that you have to have right at your fingertips? And what are the things that are maybe less used or are overflow? And that's how we're going to kind of divide those spaces. Now, there are so many storage solutions, as I said, and I'm not here to showcase or sell you on any specific storage solution because every one of us has different spaces. But what I am going to share with you are some little tips to use so that you can make the most of that real estate in your drawers and in your cupboards. Now, I don't have any girls, but I have used this myself where, again, I love to upcycle. I keep empty toilet paper rolls because they're so functional for so many things. This is one of them. I just have covered this with some art paper. And then this is great for all of my hair stuff. So I have hair elastics. Then on this side, I have clips, hairpins, This is so easy, and it just is not floating around everywhere in my drawer. It has a nice little space for it. I have to go off key for a minute and just tell you another way I love to use empty toilet paper rolls is, I know this sounds so crazy, but I love my fires in the winter, and we have a great wood burning stove. When I want to make a fire, I feel like I always have to tell my husband, will you please start the fire? Because I don't like to do the kindling, and I don't like to start a fire because I never can. It's just full of smoke. So what I've learned to do is I just take the lint from my dryer and I stuff it in my toilet paper rolls, and I have a bag full of these in my closet. And what happens in the wintertime, it's the perfect fire starter. Just throw it in my fireplace, light a match, and it instantly burns. It's the best solution for me. So recycle these. And these are so great for kids' crafts. We're going to talk about that in a little minute too. And another little secret I have for the bathroom. So these are valuable little things. I like to use little ramekins in my drawers in my bathroom because they're also perfect for things like safety pins or bobby pins. They're just so small and they're great. Now, if you're using pencil-sized, let's say boxes or organizer caddies, there's a really cool product, and it's just like a poster. It's like a poster gummy, and it's poster putty. And if you just put a little bit under each of those little containers, it helps them from sliding in the drawer. You can also put that gripper liner, and that works well. But it feels so good to just clean everything out and then organize. As you're putting things back in your drawers, I find it really helpful to just wipe down all of your things that you touch, your makeup, your toothbrushes, so everything is just clean, no fingerprints, and it just feels really orderly. Now, if there are multiple things that you use that you have a backup for, again, if you have, you wear 1 or 2 lipsticks, great. All of the rest that are maybe extras that you don't wear as much, put it in another container. And those are going to be the things that go in the overflow or under the cabinet, okay? So let's go back to the upper drawer for a minute. It's important to sort things. So of course you can have one area that's just for dental hygiene. Your floss, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your picks, all of that. And then have another one for your makeup, and then have another one for your brushes and combs. I mean, the more you can compartmentalize, the more easily you're going to be able to find things. And this really helps children too in their bathrooms. So again, when I'm going through and organizing, if I have a pad of paper with me at all times and I can say, oh, you know what, I'm running low on this, or I want to make sure that I have 3 or 4 backup on this, then write it down on that list. And what do you do with that list when you're done? You put it in your weekend warrior basket, things to replace or repair, right? Or things to do. So again, you have that system set up and you can use it. All right. Now, any items that'll be stored under the cabinet or in drawers, those are great to have bins with lids. And I really like, clear containers with lids because then you can see what's in it. I also like to label what's in it. So for example, I have a box that has first aid supplies. I have one that has essential oils. I have one that has backup shampoo and conditioner. And one of my favorite things that I have is my travel kit. So I have all of my things that are, like mini soaps, mini shampoos, mini hairspray, Visine, even my, waterproof phone covers, anything that I could take on a weekend adventure or that I'll need to travel with. And they're each in their own little organization, bag inside one container. So it makes it so easy. Mini toothpaste. I don't have to run to the store every time I want a weekend getaway and go get stuff. I just have it right there. And it makes it so simple to get to. Other things that you might consider are nail care. I always like to have a backup of hand soaps and body soaps, just anything that you would use in that space. Of course, toilet paper, towels, things like that. Don't forget about the cabinet doors. The cabinet doors have a lot of extra real estate. So the things that I have found to be the most helpful on cabinet doors, you open them up, you put those kind of heavy duty 3M hooks on the inside of the doors. And then you're familiar with the travel caddies, kind of the shoe caddies that come, they have like plastic, pockets where you can put your shoes, and they're made out of fabric. Super simple solution is you just cut those up so that there's maybe 4 or 6 of those hanging, folders. Just take maybe a section of that shoe organizer, hang it on those 3M hooks, and you've got an instant storage solution for things like curling irons, blow dryers, combs and brushes. I mean, it's so easy. And it's so great because you can just hang it on the bathroom cupboard and away you go. And a lot of that, sometimes is forgotten, those cabinet doors. So I also love the solution of doing drawstring bags. Imagine that you have a lot of hair care, you have girls or, feminine items or whatever. You can put them in drawstring bags, also hang them on a 3M hook inside your cabinet door, and you're good to go. So I love bundling things with like items. I think it just makes sense. All right. Another thing that I think is an absolute must in a bathroom is a cleaning kit. Now, it doesn't matter if you have housekeepers or you don't, or you do the own cleaning. Having something that's just really tidy. For this, I like to actually get, and you can again get them at the dollar store, these little laundry hampers. They have like little holes in them so they can breathe. And I just fill all my stuff in there. So I have, my all-purpose cleaner, my squeegee for my shower, the toilet brush, a window cleaner, sponge and cleaning cloths, some rubber gloves, and my absolute favorite upcycling thing, and I'm going to tell you this, I discovered this totally by mistake. I always love my cleaning girls because when they leave, my mirrors are never so clean. I can never get them streak free, and I realized it's because I'm using paper towels. Because one day I didn't have paper towels, and I happened to use just a hand towel, and it was first pass crystal clear. So what I've done from now on is when I have towels that are less than perfect, I'll cut them up into maybe, this size, and I'll throw them in my cleaning basket, and they make the perfect mirror, streak-free mirror wiper. It's so great. And you can even use that in your car to kind of wash up spills in your car. I've used them on my, rear view mirrors or whatever, just for a quick cleanup, because very little water. You don't even need a cleaner. You can do it with water, and it gets them crystal clear and so beautiful. So I love that secret, and I discovered it by accident very recently. So I wanted to share that with you. And you probably already knew. You're smarter than I am, but I'm going to pass that along for those of you who don't. Okay, here's another last tip. So people with young kids, so they find themselves in the bathroom, they've got to bathe their children, and they're sitting there on the toilet probably just watching them and making sure they're good. Well, this is a great time to really quickly do a quick organization. Let's say your top drawer, or tidy up a little bit, clean the mirror, make sure everything's nice and tidy. This is just a great way to multitask. So you can keep your eye on the kids, and you can be organizing and cleaning a little bit. When they're out of the bathtub, give it a quick wipe down, because we don't want that ring of soap, and we don't want to have to do that later. So you can really kind of kill two birds with one stone. And that's great for my young moms. Okay, let's talk about towels, because we all have them, right? And towels can be kind of tricky. So I remember when I had all these little boys at home, and I would be so frustrated because there were always wet towels on the floor. And the crazy part is I never knew who to blame. Who was the culprit who was disorganizing my organized system, right? I didn't know who to yell at. So I finally decided, once they were almost out of the house and teenagers, I'm going to just give them each 2 towels. That's it, 2 towels for the week. They can, go back and forth, but they're each going to have their own color. So one they're going to use, and the other one's going to be hanging to dry, right? So they always are kind of shuffling at the weekend. I take them all and we launder them. But dividing the colors among kids, or you can have different stripes or different patterns, as long as you know and they know whose towels they are, it was a lifesaver. It was such a great system. And when they were on the floor, I could peg that kid. So that might be a good thing for you to do. Now, I love to have, of course, clean and new towels for guests. So I kind of keep those in a separate area in the bathroom or in another linen closet. But what I love to do with any towel, packages is make bundles. So I'll take the bath towel and I'll fold it up nicely. And inside that, I'll just slip the hand towel and the washcloth. So they're just a great little bundle. I can just, if someone's coming over, I can just take it, stick it on their bed, and they're done. So it keeps, sets together, and they're not floating and mismatched. So that's really nice. One of the things that a lot of these, my clients have are, these bathrooms with pedestal sinks. So how do you do storage with pedestal sinks? Well, I would recommend doing floating shelves. And one place we don't think of very often is doing floating shelves over the bathroom door. This is lost real estate, again, because it's not cluttery. You walk in and you never see it, right? But there's quite a bit that you can fit on a hanging or a floating shelf. So extra toilet paper rolls, or, a basket full of extra shampoo, or, things like that, sprays, things that you need. And I would recommend if you're doing something that high, or if you're even using, floating shelves around the bathroom or over the toilet area, you may need a little stool. So you can buy those super inexpensive $5 collapsible stools, hang them on a little hook behind your door, and you're good to go. And you can access those all day long. Here's another great solution. Have you ever seen those shower liners that have pockets in them? So we're talking about the shower liner that's between the tub and it's hidden by the shower curtain, right? So nobody's ever gonna see it. But the shower curtain liner, when it has those vinyl pockets, just like a shoe organizer, is such a great place to put extra things. So not only your shampoos, your conditioner, your shaving, your nail things, imagine all of the things that you would have to store in the bathroom that could easily go inside those little pockets, and it's out of sight and out of mind to those who are in it, but you know exactly where those things are. So for those of you who have tiny bathrooms and pedestal sinks, that might be a great solution. Right. I mean, who knew there was so much to talk about in a bathroom, right? I mean, there's a lot, but we all have it, and hopefully these solutions are helping you. Finally, just 2 more little tips. I'm kind of one of those who, I don't like waste, so I want to be able to use everything till the very end. So this includes the toothpaste, and this includes the shampoo and the conditioner. And I often find myself in the shower kind of, taking the bottle of shampoo and conditioner, kind of, tapping it against the wall to get the last bit out because I love it so much. It feels so good in my hair and I don't want to waste it. So instead of doing that, well, you can, but did you know that conditioner makes a great shaving cream? So what I do when I'm almost done with the conditioner and the shampoo is I take it out of the shower because I have a separate shower and a separate bath. And I go put it on the garden tub, and next time I take a bath, I can use the conditioner to shave my legs. When I have shampoo that I can't get out of the bottle, I take the bottle, I put it on the garden tub, and when I'm ready to have a nice bubble bath, I stick the whole bottle in, empties it out, clean as a whistle, right? So you can use them to the very last drop, and they work really, really well. So there you go. I know I said this is the last. When you have kids at home, I remember this so vividly when I have little boys. And little boys, when they're using toilet paper, what do? They just, right? And they use so much toilet paper and it goes clear to the floor, and then they wrap it around their hand and then they use it, and it's so big that sometimes it clogs the toilet. Well, too late in my life, I recognized that one simple trick I could do is just to flatten an empty toilet paper roll, stick it back into the toilet paper roll that was full, and do you know how much harder it is to unroll that toilet paper roll once you have this inside? Yes, it takes a little effort. So how sneaky is that? If you want your kids to be really conscious about how much toilet paper they're using, make it a little harder to access. And then they'll be really mindful. And it does help on toilet paper, and it does help. The toilet paper, would always pool on the floor and it would get wet. Who likes that? And then you're wasting toilet paper. So there's another last tip on the toilet paper roll. Okay, friends, on we go. So we've conquered the bathroom. Again, if you have ideas or questions that you have that you want to bring up, let me know, and I'm happy to address those. Okay. Next item or next area is the closets, and these can be places where things get lost, right? But it doesn't have to be. So let's talk about those. Next to kitchen pantries, this is absolutely one of my most favorite spaces to organize is closets. And I have done so many. And it's so fun because, of course, each one kind of has different needs. Some of my clients are super athletic. Some are super classy and dressy. So I've seen it all, and we've done it all. It's really fun. So I'm going to try to keep this really high level and give you some ideas, whether you're that person or somewhere in between. So it's always nice to have just a fresh inventory of clothes, right? So I would recommend, before you dive into organizing your closet, consider cleaning all your clothes. Whether that's taking some to the dry cleaner or laundering them, just have all of the clothes that you wear and that you love in one place to organize, okay? That way you'll know what kind of space you need to kind of, what you have to work with and what kind of containers you're gonna need. All right, so I want to encourage you, this is one of the biggest things about decluttering and organizing, is to have a donation bag or a donation box. So what I do is I just take a big shopping bag, I put it in my closet, and every time I wear something and it doesn't feel great to me and I think, not so sure, in the donation bag it goes. Again, remember, you can fill up that donation bag. It doesn't mean it's going away today, but out of sight, out of mind, right? We're trying to whittle down only the things that we absolutely love wearing, what we feel great in, what makes us feel vibrant. All of the rest is just stuff and it can go. So once that donation bag is full, what do? We put it in the garage, we cover it up so we can't see what's inside. And if we haven't checked it in 30 days, it goes away. Okay, so that's always a great rule. Now, shoes. So we're over the donation pile. I think I've talked that one to death. Let's talk about shoes. Now, there are some clients and some of you who are really minimalistic like me. I'm going to be honest, I probably have 4 pair of shoes per season. So I'm totally happy with that. That works for me. So the way that I like to organize my shoes by season is to take a box, just has a box with a lid, and it's as big as probably a file box. And on one side, I'll write winter shoes, and on the other side of the box, summer shoes. And because it's visible, I can change them around. So in the summer, I take out all the summer shoes, and I replace them with my winter shoes, and I put that box on the shelf so I can see winter shoes is coming up, right? Now I have summer shoes. And then I switch it around next season. So for me, that's super easy. I don't have to save shoe boxes or anything like that. But there are people, and you may be one of them, who absolutely loves shoes. And you might prescribe to the saying, if the shoe fits, buy them in every color. That may be a lot of you, and that's great. So you might need a more streamlined solution. So there are 2 things that I would recommend. Number 1, if you really love the original box that those shoes came in, then keep the original box. Sometimes there's a picture on them and sometimes not. So what I love to do for my clients is I actually take a picture of the pairs of shoes. I print off the pictures and I actually adhere that picture to the box. So it just is pretty. It looks like just a nice little gallery of shoes, right? That way you have the original box. That way you have the picture of what's inside. And you can have those either maybe higher up in your closet or, where you can access them below. So depending on how often you use them, that's a really nice way to do shoes. And if there is a way to have the shelf kind of slanted so you can kind of see them all, kind of how they have it in a shoe store, then even better for you as well. Another way you can do it is to store each pair of shoes in clear plastic bins with a lid. That way you can see what's inside and maybe that's good enough for you, okay? Just depending on. And then again, rotating your shoes is a good idea. There's no reason to leave all of your shoes, unless you have a huge walk-in closet that you love and that you're proud of and you want to showcase all of your collection. Typically, it's nice just to have the seasonal shoes there. And then it's just a refresh. It just feels good. I've always thought that shoes are kind of an extension of your personality. And so I think that it's important it kind of speaks your body language. I think it's important to look at all the shoes, especially when you're replenishing them and say, are they in good shape? Do the heels look right? Are they dirty? I mean, because shoes, I think, are such a reflection of somebody, it's important to say, what are you putting out into the world? Are they worn or are they shoddy? Are they comfortable? Or do you really want, a more polished and clean look? And so if you need to replace them, then go ahead and do that. But I think you're going to feel really good to be able to wear really pretty and good shoes. Okay, enough about that. On to jewelry, belts, and handbags. Now, if you're looking for a super simple, again, super minimalistic way to do your jewelry, I happen to hang my necklaces in my closet just kind of on a shelf because I have kind of a mesh shelf that I really like, and that works for me. Or if you want to take your necklaces and actually hang them on the hanger that they go with, maybe the outfit they go with, that's a great way to always make sure that they're being used. But for earrings, I love just an ice cube tray. To me, this works so well. I just stick it right in my underwear drawer, and I always have kind of my little money stash that I stick inside a sock is always under my jewelry. So I feel like it's a safe place to be, and that's how my system works. But this is perfect because you can just put little individual pairs of earrings, and it works really well. I've done that for years. Or if you want to have something more fancy and more wonderful, then you find a solution for you. Belts are a great way. Belts are just easy, just rolled up and then put in a basket. I happen to have one for my husband on the floor, kind of tucked away by the shoes, and so he has all of his belts there. They're not hanging somewhere, kind of dangling everywhere, and I don't like belts hanging up in the closet. Okay. Speaking of the underwear drawer, let's go back to that. Now, I happen to love Marie Kondo and her tidying up book. I love her. And every way that she teaches how to fold underwear or t-shirts or bras or things like that, socks, I love it. And she's spot on and it works every time. So, again, I would encourage you to have boxes like this in your closet. I love these shoe boxes and they're perfect. These are really great if you're doing t-shirts because then you can, stack them just like she does. Or if you have larger items, swimsuits, things like that. I love these little skinnies for underwear, slips, pantyhose, all kinds of things like that. So consider using that size for your closets or your drawers. Okay, handbags or clutches. Clutches do great either in boxes like this or in Caddy, so they're all together. And then of course purses, there are all kinds of ways to do purses depending on how many you have. And so, there are all kinds of storage solution or hangers. And this is, again, where I hesitate to tell you how to do it because you may have a place on the back of your door that you can hang your purses, or you may have a shelf or a drawer. So those are more tricky things, also depending on what you have and what your supply looks like. But athletic gear. I think not only having all of your athletic gear together is a good idea, but I like to have a plastic kind of a tower that has really thin drawers. And for each athletic thing that I do, so for cycling, I have my water bottles and my bars or my snacks or whatever, my lights for my bike. And then I have another drawer that has things for my running, so my armband and anything I'm going to use for running. And then I have one for swimming, my swim caps, my goggles, all of those things. So I like just to have the little things that I have to grab every time really accessible right there, right by my athletic gear, but have the stuff that I wash and clean in a separate container, a separate box. Does that make sense? So hopefully that can help you as well. Now, I would also recommend in your closet that you have 2 caddies. These 2 caddies come in handy so much. So one caddy is going to be, and I'm talking about something that's maybe smaller than a shoebox. If you're using different purses every day and you have all your stuff inside, instead of just leaving it in that bag, because you change those up every outfit or every week or whatever you do, it would be nice to have a caddy where you can just take everything from that purse or that handbag, throw it in the caddy so that it's there to go, your phone, your wallet, your sunglasses, all of your things that you need, your little makeup bag. And then when it's time to grab another purse or another bag, all you do is take it, dump it into that one, you're good to go. Okay, so that's a really nice one to have so that it's not just sitting there on your bathroom counter. The second one is kind of a in case of emergency caddy. This is where I like to have things like safety pins in case I have a clothes emergency, or double-sided tape if a hem has come loose by chance, or I have maybe a bleach pen or little scissors to cut off tags. These are really convenient to have right there, then you're not looking for them somewhere else in the house. And they don't have to be big, they can just be super small and accessible. Now let's talk about hanging things in your closet. Okay, I am really, really fussy about hangers, and I've kind of experimented with so many different ones. And the truth is I have 3 different hanger types in my closet, but the ones that I always come back to are these. I want you to see how super thin these are. Now, these are not plastic, they're wire, but they have this nice velvety texture. And what I love about this is my clothes don't slip, right? They just don't slip, which is great. And also, they're so thin that I can fit so many clothes close together. There's not that gap and that loss in space. Now, I'm going to address one thing really quick because sometimes I find a lot of clients are frustrated with this. Some of you have to share a closet with your significant other, okay? And so a lot of times you'll have, yours on top where your dresses kind of hang low, and then there's a second bar, and then his shirts are there, and you're so tired of having your dresses hang to the floor. So what you can do is you can actually take one hanger and you can hang the dress top here, and then it'll hang down, right? Well, you take the part that hangs down and you actually loop it through the second hanger. So both of them go like this. So you'll have the top part here, the second one coming through, and it's just super short, and it's great. And it's out off the floor, off of his clothes. And that's a great solution for long dresses. But I find that this is actually really good. I do have the wider wooden ones for my husband's suits and pants because they tend to, just need kind of something wider. But what I really love about using these is there is no crease and there is no bunching because they don't move. This velvet keeps them really, really nice. And I think you can buy these on Amazon. They're quite inexpensive, but I love it, especially because they're thin and they're really a good space saver. Okay, so when you're determining what are the things that need to be hung in your closet, so let's talk about things like long shirts, pants, shorts, skirts, all of those things. Take and divide them again into sections and then decide how should I use those. And what I like to do when I organize closets is have long things, short things, long things, short things. That way it's a natural break for me. So for example, I'll hang my long sleeve shirts and then I'll hang some shorts and then I'll hang some long pants and then long sleeve shirts. So it's very obvious where those sections end, okay? And then I also like to organize by color. You may be like this too. So it's so much easier when you're saying, you know what, I just need a white shirt. First look in your shorts, then in your longs, and then you'll find the white shirt you're looking for. And when you have your clothes arranged in color, not only does it look great, but it is easier to find and it is easier to match. So also determine, do you need to add more clothes rods? Are you making sense of all of the real estate that's in your closet? Do you have a ton of headspace at the top, and could you add floating shelves? So really, sometimes we just need to even take the solution that's in there out and rethink it again and say, how do I make sure that I'm using every inch of space wisely? So I promise you it makes a big difference in the end. Stackable storage drawers. Now, even when you have those kind of those bars, maybe one in the middle and one below, you even have room there below to do stackable pull-out storage drawers. Target is a great place to find those. But come up with a solution that really makes sense. And again, kind of divide your clothes into activities, right? Whether those are dress clothes or casual clothes or play clothes or recreational clothes. It's always nice to have them divided like that. All right. Now, I also like to hang all the clothes in the same direction. So if you're right-handed, have all of your clothes face the left. If you're left-handed, have all of your clothes face the right. It just feels better and it looks so good. Make sure the sleeves come out and I always like to button the top button of all the shirts that I hang up. I just think it feels better. So you might want to consider that as well. It's a little harder for our man friends to remember that, but I'm kind of finicky about that and I like it. All right. Here's a quick tip for fast mornings. Now, I know that mornings can kind of get ahead of get away from us. And so I have found that on those weeks that I feel like I'm going to be really busy, I like to organize my clothes in advance. So I actually take my shirt, my pants, whatever I'm going to do, even the jewelry that might go with it, and I hang it in a bundle at the very edge of my closet where all my clothes hang, and I have like 4 or 5 outfits ready to go. So I know that they're clean, that they're pressed, that I can just grab them and I don't have to think through it. This also works really well for children, and we're going to talk about that in a minute when we get to kids' rooms. But anything that you can do to think ahead a little bit and plan how you're going to use, what you have, it just eliminates more stress and more anxiety in your life. All right, one of the last things I want to talk about is extra storage space that you may not have considered. So whether this is on the back of your closet door, and everything that I've talked to is related to a walk-in closet. So if yours is not walk-in, that's okay. There are great solutions for you as well. But inside your closet, or somewhere in your dressing area, if you can find a place to hang 4, again, those 3 M hooks are really great. 3 good sturdy hooks. I always like to have 2 for wet towels to dry. And then I also like to have 1 for the dry cleaning bag. So as soon as something needs to be dry cleaned, I've taken it off. It goes in the bag. It doesn't go on a pile on the floor. And then the other one is either clothes I'm going to wear the next day or clothes that need to be ironed. And I just leave them right there. I love to have clothes that are pressed and ironed and look great and not have to do it right before I get dressed. So if I'm wearing something and it's still clean and I can wear it again, but it's wrinkly, then I'll go ahead and hang it right on that hook so that when I have 4 or 5 things that need to be ironed, I just do them at the same time or drop them off the dry cleaner to be ironed, okay? So that seems to be a great solution, and I hope that's helpful for you as well. Okay, so on we go. I hope we're good with closets. I hope that was helpful and that you took away some little golden nuggets there. I'd like to jump into the master bedroom. And the master bedroom, I think, is just always a place where I want to feel calm and I want to feel this retreat from the world, and I just want it to be simple and elegant. And so there are, things that I don't ever want to have in the bedroom. And those things are laundry piles, no kids' toys, no dishes, and no work, no paperwork. Nothing that is going to keep me up at night or make me distracted. So those are my 4 no-nos in the bedroom. It is not a dumping ground. It should really be your own sanctuary and a place where you can feel serenity. So I like to divide all of my bedrooms, whether it's master bedrooms, guest bedrooms, children's bedrooms, into 4 zones. And those zones are the sleeping zone, the lounging zone, the storage zone, and, okay, those are the 3 zones. I have 3. So let's talk about each one really quickly. The sleeping zone. I love clean sheets, and I'm really fussy. I think I change mine probably 2 or 3 times a week. And I love that feeling. And so I want to make sure that when I go in for fresh, clean sheets, that they're bundled really nice and that I have everything I need together. So, if you have striped sheets or if you have purple sheets or whatever you have, get those sheets together, get the pillowcases that match, and just like the towels, you're going to make a bundle. You're going to have your fitted sheet, then you're going to have your flat sheet, then all of the pillowcases go on top and they get stored inside the last pillowcase. This makes things so clean. So just take the bundle, slip it into the last pillowcase, and I even put in like either a tissue with some essential oil on it so it'll smell delicious when I open it, or even a dryer sheet. And I love it because it feels like it's just been laundered. So take those bundles. I have a special drawer in my closet where I just put 3 or 4 different bundles of sheets, and then when I'm ready, I just take it. It makes it so easy. And I love it. And I like to do that for my kids' rooms as well. I like to have sheet bundles that are ready to go. It's so much easier to think that way than to like have to go through piles and piles. And we know how much we hate fitted sheets, right? What a pain, and how much room they can get. Well, when they're piled in this nice little pillowcase, you can really take all the air out, you can compress them, and it makes it so much tidier as well. All right, let's talk next about the bedside table. This can be such a catch-all, right? There's so many things that can go on the bedside table. But remember, we need to conquer the clutter. So this means getting rid of knickknacks, no paperwork, no dirty dishes. Swap that out with a pretty green plant or a candle, something that makes you feel relaxed and yummy. I like to have, a diffuser by my bed to, diffuse essential oils. And I just feel like that helps me be relaxed as well. So whatever brings you joy should be next to your bedroom or in your bedroom table. There is a solution out there. I used to use this a long time ago. I don't anymore. But if you are one of those people who maybe don't prefer a bedside table, you can get one of these organizers. It's really cool. It's kind of like it's almost like a shoe caddy, but what it is, it's one side is flat, so it slips under the 2 mattresses, and the other side kind of comes down by the mattress, and it has little pockets in it, so you can put things like notebooks or lotion or a flashlight, whatever you need, all of your little goodies, a candy bar, whatever you want. And it's so nice because it kind of gets hidden by your sheets, so you'll never see it, but you know that it's there. And for those of you who are night thinkers like I am, I always like to have a notebook by my bed, because if I have things that keep me awake at night, I'll just write it in the notebook. And then in the morning, where does it go? It goes in the weekend warrior basket. This is where all my think thoughts go, so that I can have them in my to-do list or my task file, so then I can go right back to sleep. So I love having a notebook on my bed. You may also consider having a flashlight. I've always been a fan of, you never know during the night, especially if you have children, if there's going to be an emergency and you're stumbling over things, or, you trip. It's nice to have just a little tiny flashlight. I would also recommend that under kids' beds, so that if they get scared or they need to travel during the night, they don't trip over things and hurt themselves. I even recommend a pair of slippers or a pair of shoes. You never know, should there be an emergency or an earthquake or anything, whatever, things are going to fall and you're going to have to walk on glass. You'd hate to have that. So I'm just talking about like the ultimate emergency thought, but it's a good idea to have shoes if you have to hurry and exit the house or whatever we have to do. All right, so that's kind of the sleeping zone. Make it a zen place. Make it as calm and relaxing as you can, and always have fresh sheets on hand. The lounging zone. If you have room in your room for a lounging zone and you have a couch or a comfortable chair or somewhere where you can just relax and be, somewhere where you like to read, then have those favorite reading materials, have a cozy lamp, have something that you just feel like you can get away to, a cozy blanket, and feel relaxed. Storage zone. A lot of us don't have a ton of storage in our closets, and if you're one of those people, then you can take advantage of storing under your bed. I happen to love free space under my bed. I love to see blue sky, so I don't leave anything under my bed. But for those of you who do, and you want to take advantage of that, then you can get those bed risers. They're just really heavy duty plastic bed risers. Put them under your bed, and it affords you like a foot or more of space. And so you can get organizer baskets that are long and narrow. You can throw shoes and extra blankets and seasonal clothes and books and whatever you feel that needs to be down there, and just slide it right under your bed. I've even seen people do put coasters like on pallets and do that. So whatever floats your boat. There are storage solutions now, storage containers that actually have wheels under them for that very purpose. So that might be a great way to use that extra space. Okay, I think we've covered the master bedroom. That's all I want to talk about in the master bedroom. And this finally brings us to kids' bedrooms. These are so fun to organize. I love kids' spaces. And they have just one more zone than we have. They have what I like to call the creativity zone, because they spend so much time in the room playing. So I really believe that kids also need a really clutter-free sleeping space. So maybe you can consider, not all the stuffed animals on the bed, not all the toys by the bed, because it's so hard for kids to go to sleep when there's so much stuff around. So maybe one of their favorite blankets, one of their favorite toys that they can come to bed with. And then we talked about maybe the flashlight slipped in a little drawer or under their bed in case they need to have mommy during the night. A play zone. Play zone is so fun, and having raised 4 boys, I understand tripping over Legos and mismatched puzzle pieces and trying to find all these toys and where they are. And I really have seen that when we can teach our kids basic organization skills that they can use in their bedrooms, they take much more pride in the things that they have. In fact, sometimes they even will tell their friends when they come over, well, you can't play with that unless this has been put away, right? But if you teach them that at a young age, they're more likely to be more organized as an adult. I know this. So here are some easy examples to kind of wrangle up those toys. What do we do with all those mismatched toys? So I talked about maybe some clear storage containers that stack, and those are a great idea. I always love to take, pictures or have a fun, printout of what's actually inside, whether it's Legos or whether it's, Barbie doll clothes or train engines or whatever it is, little matchbox cars, so that everything is in its tidy little space. And kind of when I was growing up or when my kids were growing up, I always liked kind of to suggest that let's play with one thing before we play with another. Or if there are friends over, let's not just turn the whole room into disaster. Let's just go, one thing at a time. And then there is a place. There is no reason for them to be untidy if they're taught to put things away. Again, I love these oatmeal boxes. These are ideal for puzzles. So let me tell you how I use this. This is a great way to do it. And kids really love bright paper and pictures. So you can help them cover this. You can do a little craft and cover it. Put a picture of what the puzzle is supposed to look like. And then before you put the puzzle pieces in this, especially if you have different puzzles, turn the puzzles all over on their backside and have your kids just draw like a red X or a green O or something, so that all of the puzzle pieces that go in here have red X's, all of the puzzle pieces that go in the other one have green O's. And that way, even if they get mixed up, there's a system, right? That's pretty smart backup plan, right? Now, if you don't want to use these, you can also do that in zipper bags, or you can do it in plastic boxes. I mean, whatever. I'm just giving you some ideas so that you can make sure not to have lost pieces. And it's kind of fun for kids to do that. It's a little challenge. And then we also talk about things like storage under the bed. Okay, so storage under the bed for kids is great because it's easy to get to. You don't have to, lay down on the floor and crawl under like you would a king-size bed. And so again, seasonal clothes or clothes that you're going to be donating to a younger sibling, those are all great things that are out of the way and out of sight. And so I also encourage people, if they have a ton of toys, to maybe have a recycle day, like once a month, and they just have some toys under the bed that they bring out and they're fresh and new, and then they kind of recycle through the ones that they're using so that you don't have everything out all at the same time. And it does help things stay a little bit more tidy. Now, let's say your child has a really special collection, whether that's dolls or trains or cars or, action heroes, whatever. I always love to have floating shelves, maybe a third of the way up or 2/3 of the way up on the wall. Not only does this help, showcase their great little collection, but it also helps keep things out of the way of younger siblings who might want to play with those things. So if you put it 2/3 up the wall, it's easily accessible by the older child with a stool, but it's not something that little kids can come and grab and play with. So I kind of like that idea as well. It's also a good idea to consider the furniture that you're using in that room. Could it double for storage? Do you have a chair with an ottoman, and could that ottoman be opened so that they can fit, multiple things in there? Are there chests at the end of the bed, or things that you can use where you can pile those things away, or in the closet so that things aren't out on the floor? I think that kids sleep better and they have better mental focus when all of their stuff isn't visual. I really believe that. It is good, though, to have a bulletin board. I mean, if you could give them a bulletin board in their room where they can just have that space for kind of their creative things, their latest drawings, or their latest announcements, or some things that they are really proud of, maybe some awards that they've gotten, then that's a great idea. But they don't all have to be displayed all at the same time. Okay. Another idea for kids' rooms are to have nice hooks, and this can be behind their door, on their door, behind their door, or on the wall. Things for caps and hats and coats and backpacks, right? Because those automatically just kind of sometimes get thrown on the bed or thrown on the floor, and then they're wondering in the morning where those are. So we really want to give our children the best chance at succeeding in being tidy, and really praising them for the effort that they make. Let's talk about the clothes zone. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about an adult closet, and how seasonal, it's nice to have just seasonal things out and not the whole year, because then, our choices are harder and things tend to get lost. And so dividing them into seasons is great. Again, bed risers for kids. This is a great way to tuck away those clothes that they're not wearing all the time. What I have really loved doing for kids is those stackable drawers. So imagine it's probably waist high and it has 4 drawers that you pull out. And they're actually on casters, if you like casters, and you can move them wherever you want. So whether that's slipped inside the closet or whether it's by their bed, I love to take and label Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then collect their outfits with socks, with shoes, with whatever accessories they're going to need. And stick them in those drawers so that every single day of the week they know that this is what they're going to wear. It's clean. You're not hunting for clothes. You're not stressed in the morning, and they can help you choose. Let's say on a Sunday afternoon, you go in and you say, okay, what do you want to wear this week? And they tell you, and you bundle it all up and it's ready to go. Can you see how these kinds of exercises with kids teaches them to think ahead of time and be a little bit more strategic about good organization and time management? I think that's going to help you as well. Okay, again, we talked about teaching kids to fold their own clothes. I love Marie Kondo's way of teaching kids how to do that. And I think 2 years ago, I was telling my 16-year-old, this should be really easy for you. He's very, very tidy, which I love. But, every time I go into his drawers or put stuff away, they were all kind of like rolled and then shoved in there. I mean, they were there and they were clean, but they were shoved. So I said, you could fit so much stuff in your drawer if you just folded it this way. It took him once to learn how to do it. I mean, he's 16 years old. It's not rocket science. And every single time now he just does it, and it looks so beautiful. And so he can find everything he needs, and he knows where everything is. And kids love to be tidy. They love to learn things like this. And it all starts with things as easy as dishcloths and washcloths, right? Towels in the bathroom. They feel such pride when they can do that themselves. And then we graduate to things like t-shirts, right, and shorts. But when they can be, over their domain, they're going to feel a lot more in control, and that's nice. Okay, another fun way for kids to learn how to stay tidy is, I like to take just those little basketball hoops. You can get them like at the dollar store, and it just takes one little screw, and you put it up above their hamper or above their trash can. And then they have so much more fun throwing stuff in the hamper or throwing stuff in the trash, and it actually gets done, and they can do that with their friends. And again, if you're teaching things to your kids at home and then they have friends come over and they are able to have fun throwing stuff in their trash or throwing stuff in the laundry, how great is that? They're actually having fun while they're keeping their room organized. So I think that's great. Elizabeth, I'm glad you like visuals, because that's what this is all about. Thank you. Okay. We talked about the bulletin board and being able to have a space for them that's all their own. And when those things kind of expire and you want to put up new things, again, the Weekend Warrior basket is going to be your best friend, because you'll take those things off, put them in the to file, and then on the Sunday or when you manage that basket, you can put that in their specific file. And we're going to be talking about files next week when we talk about offices. So there is a place for everything. The creativity zone. This is my absolute favorite. I love creating art stations for kids, and our kids are naturally creative and they love to explore. And so I love to go through my house and say, okay, well, what could be fun? It could be, recycled everything. I love to upcycle things like bottle lids or toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, just all kinds of things, cereal boxes. I mean, whatever you think that would be fun for kids. And I have them all in a big drawer. Now I have them in a big drawer because I don't have little kids at home, but I do have little kids that come over and play, so we love to have crafts. But think of all of the things that you can have in a creative zone. Things like craft paper, pom-poms, glitter, yarn, glue sticks, stickers, markers, crayons, scissors, whiteboards. I mean, it goes on. And all of these things will spark joy in kids. But being able to organize them is really the key. And again, whatever organizing solution you come up with, make sure it's accessible to the kids. Make sure it's easy for them to maybe screw off the lids or take off the lids. Make sure that it's labeled or there's a picture if they're younger, so they know exactly where the things go and they can keep those things organized. Sometimes even if we give kids and we say in 10 minutes, I want to see how you can clean up your room. If everything is labeled and containerized and organized, they're going to have so much fun because you've set up a system for them where they cannot fail. And that's the beauty of it all, right? In my ebook that I'm going to let you download in a couple of weeks, it'll have this, my absolute favorite Play-Doh recipe. And I've come up with this because I love Play-Doh, and I think kids have such they love to have things that are tactical. But how many times do we buy Play-Doh and it goes dry, like after 2 weeks, and it's crackly and nobody wants to play with it? Well, this one will never dry. It's so great, and I love it. You can do any color you want, super soft and squishy and easy to make. And you can just put it in little Ziploc bags, and on you go. The kids are going to love it. So, I feel like we've covered a lot. I really wanted to do this in 40 minutes. It's been an hour, and I appreciate your attention. But can you see how we could never have gone through the whole house in one episode? It's going to take 3 more to really conquer the clutter. But it's so exciting, and I hope that you've liked the things that I've shared with you. This wraps up this episode, and I hope that if there are things that you've learned, or if there are things that you might want to suggest to our online community and help them with any of these tips that I've shared and beyond, if you have tips of your own, we love to hear from you. And I know that as we learn from one another, we just do better, and we're more efficient. And when we're more efficient, we're more happy. And when we're more happy, everyone is happy. So it's a good thing to be. Finally, I'm going to leave you with this quote by the author of Winnie the Pooh, A.A. Milne. He said, "Organizing is what you do before you do something, so that when you do something, it is not all mixed up." Isn't that darling? I love that quote. I think it's so great, and it just sounds like Winnie the Pooh, doesn't it? Okay, friends, we are here to conquer these places and spaces, and I am cheering you on from behind my screen. And I want to hear from you. So if you have things that you're loving to do or you have found helpful, let me know. Next week, we're talking about organizing laundry rooms, family rooms, and your office. And the office will include all kinds of filing ideas. So I hope you'll join me. This is so much fun. I appreciate your support. And get on with your Saturday and organize something amazing. We'll see you next week.